We picked our NBA All-Star starters last week: Giannis Antetokounmpo, Kawhi Leonard, Joel Embiid, Kyrie Irving and Kemba Walker for the Eastern Conference, Kevin Durant, Anthony Davis, LeBron James, Stephen Curry and James Harden for the West, and now it's time to dig deep on the reserves. The 7 reserves for each conference are chosen without regard for position. The West is an absolute dogfight. Denver's Nikola Jokic could easily have taken the forward spot occupied by Davis, and Oklahoma City's Paul George has a case to supplant James, who has missed a lot of time, an extreme rarity for him, due to injury. George has never been better, and Jokic conjures images of big men like Arvydas Sabonis and Bill Walton with the way he passes the ball. They are no-brainers. Utah center Rudy Gobert is arguably the most dominant current defender in the league and trails only Davis in win shares. He's an easy pick. Portland's Damian Lillard has not quite been the fringe MVP candidate he usually is, but he's still performed at an awfully high level, 8th in the NBA in win shares, 10th in scoring and value over replacement player. I'm taking Drew Holiday at the Pelicans, even though his two-way skills often fly under the radar. He's an incredible defender and also puts up 20.8 points and 8.1 assists per game. Holiday's one of the most underrated players in the league and deserves a selection, even if it's odd to give lowly New Orleans 2 All-Stars. Which leaves 2 spots in Karl-Anthony Towns, Klay Thompson, Russell Westbrook, Luka Doncic, Mike Conley Jr., LaMarcus Aldridge, Tobias Harris, Danilo Gallinari, Canadian Jamal Murray and Sacramento's De'Aaron Fox, all having decent solid cases for them. Thompson had a rough start and is boosted significantly by the presence of Curry and Harden. Harris and Gallinari split a vote, while Fox and Murray aren't quite there yet. Conley Jr. gets penalized for the stunning Memphis free fall. While Westbrook appears to no longer be able to shoot while also no longer being Oklahoma City's best player, he's still a monster and deserves another appearance. Doncic has been tremendous, but it feels weird to give a rookie a spot when the likes of James didn't get one in his first season. Plus, has he been better than Towns or Aldridge? It's close. Towns loses points for being AWOL for the end of the Jimmy Butler era. He has turned it on, but it's too little, too late, at least for this year. Aldridge has done the most to keep San Antonio afloat by far, and he's our choice. Towns and Doncic will be perennial additions, so don't feel too bad for them. The West is insane and I don't feel good about these choices. The Eastern Conference is far less complicated. Washington's Bradley Beal and Philadelphia's Ben Simmons could easily been chosen starter over Walker, but we went with the feel-good factor, the game is in Charlotte, and the idea that Walker has the least help of any of the All-Stars. Regardless, Simmons and Beal are great in locks. Blake Griffin has been stellar for Dwayne Casey's Detroit Pistons and is another simple choice. Orlando's Nikola Vucevic will justifiably earn his first All-Star berth. He's always been a good player, but this year, Vucevic has been brilliant for the surprising Magic. I don't think either Butler or Kyle Lowry have been close to themselves this season, and the way they've carried themselves as leaders doesn't help their causes. The Butler drama factor is way too high, and Lowry has seemed off ever since his pal DeMar DeRozan was wisely dealt for Leonard, even though Lowry has always maintained that all that matters to him is getting a gold ball championship, something that trade gave him a far better shot of attaining. Plus, Lowry's jump shot has abandoned him and his defense has been hit and miss, with too many blow-bys on a nightly basis. Lowry has also missed a fair bit of time, as has Victor Oladipo. Still, Indiana's Oladipo has been a bit better than either Lowry or Butler and gets a spot, which leaves 2 coveted places. It would be nice to reward Brooklyn for turning heads, but while D'Angelo Russell has been good, Spencer Dinwiddie has done his part too, and there just isn't enough separation. East leaders Toronto and Milwaukee deserve a second All-Star, and Pascal Siakam has done enough to make it, showing consistency regardless of who is or isn't in the lineup with him. Had Lowry played more games he'd probably squeak in, but Siakam has been tremendous and more consistent. Very little separates Chris Middleton and Eric Bledsoe, who is having a career season and defending at an elite level, but Middleton is more important to Milwaukee's fortunes and he's the final choice, but not by much. If this was done regardless of conference, Siakam and Middleton would be out, Towns and Doncic would be in. Davis down again. There will come a day when the great Anthony Davis no longer plays for the New Orleans Pelicans. It's unclear how far off that day is, but once again, the superstar is out of the New Orleans lineup due to an injury. Davis, who is averaging 29.3 points, 13.3 rebounds and 4.4 assists per game, will miss at least a week with a finger issue, though the team at least avoided the fear of a month-long absence. He played in 75 games in each of the past 2 seasons, but missed at least 18 in each of his first 3 NBA campaigns. Ankle, knee, hand, back and shoulder issues have been just some of the things that have put him on the shelf. Ironically, the timing of the Davis injury news coincided with the long-awaited return to action of his former teammate DeMarcus Cousins, now with the Golden State Warriors. New Orleans has sunk to 12th in the West. Around the rim, Sixers center Embiid can become just the 4th player to average at least 26 points and 13 rebounds per game in a season over the past 30 years, Shaquille O'Neal twice, Hakeem Olajuwon and Kevin Love. Thunder forward George had gone just 9 for 73, 12% on shots to tie or take the lead in the last minute of a game until hitting a winner. No player had shot worse in those situations over the past 10 years, according to NBA.com's John Schumann. The North. A quick look at the top Canadians in the NBA this season. Jamal Murray, Nuggets, averaging nearly 20 per game in January. Andrew Wiggins, Wolves, jump shot has abandoned him lately. Kelly Olynyk, Heat, minutes way down as offensive struggles mount. Tristan Thompson, Cavs, now a foot injury has felled former Ironman. Corey Joseph, Pacers, has ramped up his defense. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Clippers, statement made with 24 points versus Warriors. Dwight Powell, Mavericks, played only 3 minutes against Clippers. Dillon Brooks, Grizzlies, Memphis team will be very different when he returns next season. Khem Birch, Magic, back to the bench, despite solid play. Trey Lyles, Nuggets, strong play against bad teams Chicago and Cleveland. Big NUMBERS, 12 teenagers with multiple games with 20 points and 10 rebounds now that Marvin Bagley III joined Luka Doncic in accomplishing that this season. 8 games with at least 25 points by Canadian RJ Barrett and Zion Williamson, tying Bagley for the Duke freshman record. 20 games with at least 30 points and 10 rebounds this season by Joel Embiid. The most by a Sixers player since Charles Barkley in 1990, -91.44 points scored without a free throw by Klay Thompson on Tuesday. Only Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and Hakeem Olajuwon have scored more without a single attempt. 5 up 5 surging squads before Wednesday's games. 1. Golden State Warriors, 8 straight wins, DeMarcus Cousins on the scene and the superstars dominating. Look out, NBA. 2. Philadelphia 76ers, seem to have finally figured it out offensively. 3. Toronto Raptors, all they do is win, regardless of whether superstar forward Kawhi Leonard plays or not. 4. Milwaukee Bucks, offense gets the attention, but defense has been solid. 5. Utah Jazz, Rudy Gobert and co. aren't surrendering many points. 5. DOWN 1. Memphis Grizzlies, the truth hurts. Team has recognized that it's time to trade the stars and rebuild. 2. Chicago Bulls, from fun story to railroad just like that. Completely falling off the map. 3. Cleveland Cavaliers, could easily be number 1 in futility. The defending Eastern Conference champions are getting throttled nightly. 4. New York Knicks, are we sure Kevin Durant might consider signing here? Are we really sure? 5. Atlanta Hawks, not playing defense and making tons of turnovers equals bad basketball. End of an era looms for Grizzlies. Some things just go together: peanut butter and jam, Batman and Robin, coffee and donuts. Mike Conley Jr. and Marc Gasol, the standout point guard and center, have been playing together for years in Memphis. They've taken the court together 633 times, by far the most of any current NBA teammates. Steph Curry and Klay Thompson have played 471 games together for Golden State, while Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook played 510 together for the Thunder franchise. But now the two Grizzlies icons are reportedly on the trade block, as the floundering franchise realizes that its window of competing for a title has closed. Jaren Jackson Jr., currently being tutored by Kevin Garnett, it is the future and is nearly half the age of Gasol and Conley Jr. The Grizzlies probably should have moved Gasol last season when Conley Jr. was sidelined for much of the year due to injury. But better late than never. ESPN reported on Wednesday that the Grizzlies' ownership and management have decided they've reached an organizational crossroads and are preparing to weigh deal scenarios on one or both of their cornerstone veterans between now and the February 7 trade deadline, and perhaps into the offseason. Gasol, 33, was an elite two-way player in his prime, while Conley, 31, is one of the best players to never make an All-Star game and is having a strong bounce-back year, but still is owed a fair bit of money and has long battled injuries. Gasol could test free agency this summer, but it's believed to be more likely he picks up his $25.5 million contract option. With losses piling up, Memphis has fallen close to the cellar in the Western Conference. That's actually probably a good thing, as it has hastened trade talks, needed since a rebuild is long overdue, and it also might allow Memphis to keep its 2019 pick since it is owed to Boston, but top 8 protected this year. ESPN reported that both players met with ownership, but did not request a trade.